In addition to the Ica stones, it appears that artists living in the ancient civilization in what we now call Mexico found yet another way of leaving a long-lasting record of their story. They made clay figurines, thousands of them. After World War II, an amateur archaeologist, Mr. Julesrud, uncovered clay figurines along a trench at the base of Bull Mountain in his native Mexico. After talking to local farmers, Julesrud learned that the figurines like these were frequently being uncovered when farmers dug ditches and trenches in the area. They usually turned up in groups of between 20 to 40 pieces and were usually found in a particular piece of land at the base of the mountain. Julesrud began excavating the area and eventually had a collection of over 30,000 figurines. The figurines, all made of a particular type of clay found in the area, appear to show artworks of two distinct cultures and time periods. One type with human figures with large eyes and lips, which depict a style of art known to be linked to a culture that lived in the area thousands of years before Columbus. The other figures are thought to be much older. These figures show animals that were never thought to have been indigenous to the area, like camels, elephants, and horses. They also include exact replications of dinosaurs believed to have been extinct. Thus, we have a mystery left from antiquity in the soils of Mexico and Peru. These ancient artworks appear to be telling us that humans not only were here at the time of the dinosaurs, but they hunted them and may have been hunted by them. They also knew of other animals from other parts of the world that they should not have known about. And, like the Ica stones, the clay figures show detailed images of Stegosaurus, Tyrannosaurus rex, and pterodactyls, both alone and in various interactions with human figures. In 1954, Julesrud actually convinced a team of archaeologists to visit the site where the clay figurines were found. They made some excavations and uncovered a collection of new figurines, appeared excited by their find, and stated that they thought the work was authentic. But 3 weeks after they had returned to the university, the report concluded that they could not be real because of the impossible representations of both humans and extinct dinosaurs living together. Thus, the existence of the Julesrud figurines were disregarded by the established scientific community because they did not fit the mold for approved human history. God created everything in the beginning perfectly. All the animals were created the way God intended them to be. When the fallen angels began mixing one species with another, the problem that comes from blending these different species, just as science is doing today, if one of these creatures is able to breed with another species or human being, this is where we start seeing a major problem. Because this is when the barrier has been essentially broken, and now it is like an infectious virus able to spread its corrupted DNA and genetics into other creatures and other species. These corrupt beings, this is one of the reasons why God destroyed everything in the flood. Just imagine a world of these bizarre, strange, disgusting beings that were full of hatred and violence, and I can almost assume that these creatures hated man and probably killed and ate man, drank blood, and all these other things that we are told throughout ancient history and a lot of the mythological stories. Some of these creatures, like this one here, it's pretty clear what we're seeing here. It looks like what we would call a gray next to a dinosaur. Could be his pet. We have another image here that we saw earlier, this one here, of what appears to be some kind of an entity hugging a dinosaur, almost again like a pet. This was the corruption of DNA and genetics of God's original creation to pollute what God had created. This angered God. This was also being done to corrupt man, animal, everything, to try to prevent the prophecy of the coming of Jesus Christ. This is why the Bible is very clear that the angels that committed these awful acts and taught men these sinful sciences were bound in chains in darkness. And this is why when Jesus died on the cross, he descended into the bowels of the earth and declared his victory to these fallen angels. I know there are many false teachers out there teaching the incorrect serpent seed doctrine that had occurred in the Garden of Eden, which is completely unbiblical. There is absolutely zero biblical evidence for this, unless you start going to corrupted texts such as the Targums and other unbiblical texts. We need to focus on what we have the evidence for, such as what I have been showing you in this video. There is a reason why a lot of people don't like to address this issue or look into it or research it, because it is very disturbing. It is something that most churches conveniently like to sweep under the rug and ignore. But the fact is history does not lie. These artifacts do not lie. These activities were going on in the days of Noah and also after that. And there's another reason why the world ignores this and lumps it under the title of evolution, and that one species changed into another, and that's why these creatures are no longer here. That is another grand lie that is fed to the masses. The truth is, they do these things in order to hide the fact that they're doing it again, as we see with the pig-human hybrid that they have created. And there's others that have been going on in Japan with mixing human genetics with rabbit genetics, and they're all doing this under the guise of, this will help people. We can do new vaccines and make cures for cancer or whichever disease they want to attach a tag to. The truth is, there is nothing good that will come of this other than stirring up God's wrath. These creatures were wiped out for a reason before, and they will be wiped out again. It is very important to watch what the scientific community is up to and pay attention to what they're busy working on these projects. These creatures that are being created in these labs are modern day Nephilim. These creatures are evil, and they can be nothing but evil because a human spirit does not inhabit them. Whatever spirit inhabits these creatures when they're created in a lab can only be 100% demonic. If hybrid creatures or hybrid humanoids were allowed out into the general populace and were having intercourse with other normal human beings, as I stated before, it would be like the spreading of a virus. It would not take very long before these corrupted genetics to spread like a wildfire. We can already see this agenda coming to fruition through the gender identities that we see going on. I would just like to end this video on this note. We see a lot of propaganda being pushed out about mystical creatures, especially in movies like Fantastic Beasts, the Harry Potter series, and many more. These movies are being done to have sympathy or a curiosity about creatures that do not exist in nature and are not supposed to exist in nature. These are done to condition society into accepting what is to come, because the Bible is very clear in its warnings, especially the warning that Jesus himself gave, as we read in Matthew 24:21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. This is a very important key scripture here. What this is telling us is that the times that will be coming will be worse of that than the days of Noah. We will be seeing the exact same things and worse coming to fruition through science and technology, transhumanism, these genetic alteration programs that they have like CRISPR. We will be witnessing some incredible and evil things to come in our future. And it is up to us to keep a watchful eye on what is going on in the scientific community and to pay close attention to the prophecies that we have in our scripture. I hope you all enjoyed this video. God bless and have a wonderful week.